Back. Well, next week, Tuesday, President Cyril Ramaphosa will address a joint sitting of the National Assembly and the National Council of Provinces on the devastation caused by the flooding in KZN. He's called for the joint sitting on a matter of public importance. Athi Mtongana has more for us. Athi, good afternoon to you. We know how big the story has been. We know the devastation which has been caused to KZN and the people who live there. What is Parliament going to be doing about it next week? What is likely to happen in that discussion?
Well, it's a huge issue, Stephen, to the extent that Parliament's programming committee this morning began their meeting by a moment of silence just to acknowledge the lives that have been lost in KZN. And then the Speaker of the National Assembly, Newzroom Afrika, went on to note before the members of the programming committee that President Cyril Ramaphosa wrote a letter to her yesterday requesting that joint sitting between the two houses of Parliament, the National Assembly and the National Council of Province. You may recall that a special joint sitting of this nature was requested by the President not too long ago when he wanted Parliament to address the issue of gender-based violence. And so this time around, they'll be discussing the issue around the disaster in KwaZulu-Natal. We know that in that particular programming committee meeting this morning, the chief whips highlighted how important it is then to have their input in as much as President Cyril Ramaphosa will be making a statement during that special joint sitting next week, Tuesday at 2 p.m. Members of political parties did ask the Speaker to be able to be given an opportunity to respond to whatever President Cyril Ramaphosa will say regarding the disaster in KZN. And so they will be given and allocated a particular time to respond, because political parties, as you've seen, have gone to KZN to assess the damage themselves. We know that President Ramaphosa was also there not so long ago. Today, the leader of the Economic Freedom Fighters is also in KZN. The IFP was also spotted in KZN. So political parties see it fit to be able to participate then in discussing what is going to be unfolding in as far as the relief funds are concerned and the rebuilding process of the province of KZN that has been rocked by these deadly floods. It's also important then to note that there has been an ad hoc committee that has been set up. Well, it will be formally set up next week just before the joint sitting at 2 p.m. So at 12 p.m., members of the National Assembly will convene in a brief session where they'll be discussing the formal establishment of this ad hoc committee. This ad hoc committee, Stephen, was a proposal by the ANC's Chief Whip, Phemi Majodina, who also wrote to the Speaker of the National Assembly proposing that this ad hoc committee be set up so as to ensure that Parliament plays its role in as far as oversight is concerned. And so all the chief whips from the different political parties agreed that this is an important step towards ensuring that Parliament oversees and monitors how the rebuilding process will take place in KZN and how those relief funds will be channeled towards doing exactly what they meant to do, which is to assist the people of KZN.
And Athi, I mean, what we're likely to see as well as political parties are going to try and use this to score political points. I'm fairly certain that a delivery by a certain water tanker to a certain premier will suddenly come up in this debate.
Yes, Stephen, and it is important to note, you mentioned a debate, that some of the MPs during that programming meeting made sure to mention that they should not view this particular session as a debate, because following the announcement by President Cyril Ramaphosa declaring the disaster in KZN a national state of disaster, there still have to be processes that will take place. So there will be, in the next coming months, in the next coming weeks, monitoring as Parliament what they will be doing in as far as making sure that they rebuild the province, the infrastructure, children go back to schools, schools get rebuilt, roads get rebuilt, people get proper housing, water and sanitation. It also is interesting to note that the chair of chairs here in Parliament noted that several committees want to actually go to KZN to go and conduct oversight visits namely the Portfolio Committee on Health. You may recall that hospitals in KZN have also been adversely affected by the floods. And so, for example, the Portfolio Committee on Health has indicated to the chair of chairs that they want to go to KZN and conduct oversight. And so what is also important, Stephen, here is to note that the parliamentary processes are set up to ensure that those who have been elected through their political parties, in as much as people can say politicians are trying to gain political points, but they're mandated as per the Constitution as elected members in the National Assembly and the National Council of Provinces to go out and ensure that what is being done in as far as the efforts of government to assist in the rebuilding process in KZN is done. So in essence, these politicians in Parliament, inevitably, whether they're there to score political points or not, it is their job to actually conduct oversight and ensure that things are going as per the law and as per the Constitution.
Athi Mtongana outside Parliament, thank you very much indeed. Do appreciate the update. Well.